Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy and a little extra helper.
Yes.
What are we calling him?
This is Albert Von Goose. Mr. Goose.
Mr. Goose is the newest addition to Mandy's family.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so cute. Okay.
My son's Christmas present.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who's here early because he's ready.
He's ready to come home. He's so cute. Okay. So, and Mandy forgot to say she's here with me. So, that threw me off big time.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So what's today's video?
Well, today we're talking about obsessive, possessive, toucher, and vibes.
Yeah.
Those heroes.
Those ones. Yes. Okay. So
and what better way to represent that than this little teeny tiny puppy?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so before we get started with that, what else do we got to tell them?
Well, you want to hit that subscribe button so you always know all the cool stuff that's happening on our channel, and that notification button so you don't miss out. And comment below and tell us who are some of your favorite obsessive, possessive book boyfriends.
Yeah. All right. So let's get started. So the first book that I have, let me just open this up, is one that I read quite a while ago, but I still think it's one of my favorites when it comes to this toucher and, be unalive type situation. And that is Grieved Loss by Adelaide Forrest. So this is a mafia romance. Obviously, this happens quite a bit in mafia, but this is about Riker and Kalia. So Kalia's husband was at this point a police officer, but he had associations with the mob. And so when he is killed, Kalia has 2 young children, and Riker has been obsessed with her for quite a while. He has been following her. He may have set things up to happen this way. I don't know. I wasn't there. But once her husband dies, he gives her the appropriate amount of time that he feels to grieve. Then he comes and gets her and her children, and he takes them to the home that he had built for them. And that is where he sequesters her and he keeps her and the children. And now he's daddy. But also, nobody messes with his woman. So that is that book. It is so unhinged and great. I love him. I love it. Love it.
Okay. My first one, I'm going back in time a little bit as well to a favorite, and that is Hans by S.J.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So we have Cassie and Hans, and they are neighbors. They live on a cul-de-sac, and they don't really seem to have other neighbors on this cul-de-sac. And Cassie bakes treats for Hans a lot and leaves them on his doorstep. She knows he gets them because he'll always return like the platters and things, and everything is ate. The problem is that Hans gets these treats and they are horrible, but he chokes them down because she made them for him. But Hans believes that he is just too bad of a guy to be with somebody like Cassie, so he just stays away. And then one day, something accidentally gets mailed to Hans's house for Cassie, which prompts him to immediately march over to her house and take charge of the situation. And this is where he becomes extremely over the top, possessive, obsessive of Cassie, and to the point where when she bakes something, and again, remember, these are horrible things. They're not edible for someone else. He grabs it and like literally makes himself choke trying to shove it down his throat because no one else will touch something that his woman made. And he gets very, very possessive about it. Absolutely love Hans. He will do anything for Cassie.
It was such a good book.
Yes.
Poor guy ate all those nasty pistachio drippy cookies. Yes. It was so gross. And as an avid baker, I was like, what? So yeah. Okay, so the next book I've talked about recently, but we're going to talk about it in this one again, just because it fits the narrative so much. And that is Dirty Hit by Heather Ashley. This is a dark hockey romance. This is about Cassidy and Hayden. Hayden is the bad boy of hockey, and he gets in trouble quite a bit. And so he plays a game that didn't turn out the way he wanted to, and he finds a message in his DMs from this person that, he says he gets a lot of messages and he kind of ignores them, but there was something about this one that made him open it. And it was this woman in Seattle who was heckling him. And so he figured out that she's in Seattle. He goes and checks out her profile. He finds out a lot about her. Well, when he gets traded or told that he's getting fired from the team, so he has to be traded, he's like, I want Seattle. And so between the time that happens and the time he actually gets traded, he does a lot of research. He finds out a lot about Cassidy. Cassidy's dad ran a hockey bar in Seattle. And so now she is running it. Her dad is no longer around. I think he passed away. He's no longer there. She's running it. And so Hayden comes to play for the new team. Apparently the Seattle team sucks at this time and they need help. And so he's there to do that. But then he also stumbles upon Cassidy, and the obsession is complete. And it just goes from there. He is unhinged at the best of times. So, when exes show up and things happen, he'll do anything to keep her. So, yeah. I like dark hockey. I like the dark sports. I'm not a huge jump on sports, but dark, you betcha.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears, and it's not going to be dark. I actually have a very possessive golden retriever.
Okay.
And so this is Rule Breaker by Nikki Hall. And we have Vi and Soren. So Soren gets a phone call in the middle of the night to go to this frat party to rescue Vi. So a friend of theirs calls, and so he shows up, and they want him to take Vi out of the party safely because Vi got into a little bit of an altercation with one of the star football players. And he is not happy, and he is coming for her. And she may have given him a little bit of an injury. So Soren agrees. He gets Vi out of there and then agrees to pretend to date her to protect her from his teammates. So not only is he doing this to protect her from the football team, they're his teammates as well. So he really steps up to the plate to make sure that they can't come after her, and takes care of her in many, many ways. So I really like this one. Sometimes I don't really care for the golden retriever as much, but he becomes very possessive of Vi and just really wants to make sure that she is okay. And he's not afraid to ask her about her needs and stand up for her as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have that kind of similar thing here, like a golden retriever, but yet he's in a mask.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. Now, this book is very, very popular right now. It has taken off, but I still included it in this list because we haven't talked about it quite often. And every once in a while, people will give us a hard time about the fact that we don't read the popular books. We do. Once in a while. So this is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. If you haven't read this one, this is your sign to actually go read it. I really enjoyed it, says the person who cannot stand really popular books. So you do know that this is a good one. Go read it. So this is about Allie and Josh. Allie is a trauma nurse. She's married to her job. She is there all the time. Josh is the son of a serial killer, and he is a recluse. Allie has this obsession with this TikTok account of this masked guy who does, he has videos that insinuate that he's doing things to his own body while wearing the mask and all oiled up and, the whole thing. And in the bookstore says she has this boyfriend that she's had for a while. And she sends him a video of this guy, this TikTok account. And she's like, I want to try this. Well, he was like, Allie, I haven't heard from you in 2 months. I've moved on. Because she's a trauma nurse, she didn't realize it been, he's like her hookup more than a boyfriend. While the boyfriend, the hookup guy, goes and shows his roommate what Allie's asked of him. And lo and behold, the roommate is Josh, who's met Allie a few times. He has an obsession with her. And he is the guy with the TikTok account, but just nobody knows it's him. And so he goes to her house and he films a video in his mask, in his gear, in her bedroom, and he posts it for everybody to see. And that like the obsession just kind of goes from there. But he does these things where like he'll pick her up from work after there was like a shooting situation, like a mass shooting situation, and he picks her up, and not only does he, pick her up and warm her car up for her, he's still in the mask, guys. She has no clue. Still in the car, or gets in the car in the mask, and he like packs her lunch and snacks to drive her home because she's been working for 24 hours. But she gives him the knife to hold to make sure that he isn't going to hurt her. But he will literally kill for her to make sure she's safe. Literally. So it's worth the hype. You got the puppy by your feet, don't you?
Yes. Mr. Goose, please stop.
Words you never thought would come out of your mouth.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. All right. So my next book is also a golden retriever, but he's a golden retriever psychopath, and he acknowledges that he doesn't understand feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But he loves Luna, and that is Such a Good Guy by Kate Raven.
Okay.
So I did recently use this in our breeding rec video, but oh my gosh, he just fits obsessive, possessive, touch her and no longer be able to touch her ever again vibes. So Luke's best friends with Luna's brother. That's how he meets Luna. And when he meets her, he falls for her. And he doesn't quite understand it because he doesn't, like I said, understand emotions or anything like that. And he takes everything that Luna says literally. So if Luna says she doesn't like something, an offhanded comment, like, he takes it seriously, like completely. And there's nothing he won't do for her. So yeah. Oh my goodness. So when they are on a family cruise together and another guy is dancing with her and he makes a rather rude comment about Luna, let's just say he no longer is on the cruise ship. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he will do anything to get her to, like, just to make her life better, even when maybe it's not going to.
But he's trying.
Yes. So I really enjoyed it a lot. It was fun to see kind of that golden retriever aspect in the over the top, like obsessive possessive guy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So funny that you had that book, because my next book is Moonshine Savage by Kate Raven.
Oh,
just so you guys know, Kate Raven is really good at this trope.
yes.
So this one is about Sorsha and Jake. So Sorsha is in her car. She's going somewhere for work, or no, she was going to go meet girlfriends for a weekend away, even though she didn't want to, when her car breaks down. And that ends up, she ends up having to go like stop at this mechanic's place to see what's going on. This town that she stops in is extremely small. It is very country. It's a hick town. It says the girl from a hick town, but it is very small. That's pretty much all that there is this shop, and that is where she meets Jake. Jake runs the shop. And when she's there and he's looking over her car trying to figure out what's going on, these other guys show up and they kind of harass her and heckle her. And Jake ends up running them off. And then once her car is fixed a little while later and she's on the road again, these guys show up and they kind of run her off the road. And when that happens, Jake shows up and he completely pummels these guys. And then he just takes her. Because, well, now she's his, because she didn't make it to the town state line. And Jake not only is like the town mechanic, but he runs a sort of mafia situation out of their town. And things go from there. But if you touch her, oh, it's bad. She might not want to be there, but he doesn't care. He's still going to protect her and keep her locked up there too as well. It's hot. You really need to go read that one.
Okay, my next one is Deception by BJ Alpha.
Oh, anything by BJ Alpha, yes.
Yes. So this is Rocco's story. He is the younger brother. And even though he is younger, he's still a teenager, he has grown up in the mafia world. So he was exposed to things and has been doing things since he was like 13 years old that most men would never do or be exposed to. So he, even though he's a teenager, he has seen things, he has done things, and he is a made man already in the mafia world. So he becomes infatuated, obsessed with Hallie. And Hallie is actually married when they first meet, but that quickly changes. And Rocco just continues, like, he's got a 2-year plan to make her fall for him. And he, like, is very meticulous about his plan. He is very obsessed with her, like he is stalking her. There are cameras everywhere, and pretty much everything that's happening in her life, he has somehow manipulated into place. But when it comes down to it, when things start to hit the fan that are not in his control, he will do everything to protect Hallie.
Is that baby whining?
Well, a little. Did you hear him? I'm sorry.
Pick the baby up.
Well, now he's found something else to play with.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's just that he's so cute.
He is.
Okay, total distraction.
I never thought I would have a little dog, but here I do.
Yeah, a little guy. Yeah, we're big dog people typically.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Was there anything else you wanted to say with that one?
No.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So the last book that I have on this list, I kind of went back to see what I'd read this year that could fit this narrative, because we've had several videos lately where these books could be used over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with one that I think is a favorite of this year, and I've talked about it a few times, but I'm going to talk about it again. It's paranormal. It is Honeysuckles. Because if anybody is going to unalive someone for touching their woman, it is Creed, and you won't see it coming. So this is by January Rain. I love this book. Like I said, it's paranormal. It is about Demi and Creed. So Creed was experimented on. He was spliced with monster and animal DNA, and he's been in this facility. It has finally taken effect, and he has all sorts of weird creatures in him that are now coming out of him. So that's great. So he breaks out of the facility. He gets free, and he goes to this little town. And he's attracted to this town because he can smell his mate there. He doesn't know who it is, but he can smell her. And one day that leads him to this little diner, and that is where Demi is at. She, this was her grandmother's diner. It's kind of like just an old-fashioned 50s style kind of diner. And that is where he meets Demi. Now his skin is kind of gray and stuff, so he wears a hood because he doesn't look natural. But when Demi sees him, she is instantly attracted to him too. And she doesn't know where the draw is coming from because she's never met this guy before. And then things go from there. So he becomes her monster stalker. This is the monster number one, the Monster Stalker series. And he breaks into her house at night when she's asleep. He might do things to her while she's asleep. But if anybody thinks of touching his mate, that's it. You're done for. That is the end of you, because he's got like some dragon in him. He's got a few things in him, vampire in him that Mandy that will get he will come for you, and you won't even know what's happening. So don't even order wrong and ask for your burger to go back, okay? No. So what is your last book?
Well, my last book, I mean, I feel like just really makes this whole video complete. And that is The Fucking Wrong Man by C.R. Jane.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much any of those books you could just put in this video. So this is the latest one in the series, and this is about Camden, whose nickname is Hero. So I was very curious as to how a guy on the hockey team who's called Hero because of all the great deeds he does. He's friends with his 75-year-old neighbor and takes her on errands and does things with her. Like, how is he going to be over the top and possessive and obsessive? Well, it turns out all it took was him going with that neighbor to a ballet and falling for one of the performers. And our performer is Anastasia. Anastasia has a really, really sad, just horrific background, like hard to read on page type situation. in the beginning of the story. And she is homeless and she is trying so hard to make it in the dance world. And she's basically just pretty much working herself to death. And he just falls for her. And so his sole purpose in life, like hockey is actually getting in the way of it, is to make her life better. And so he starts doing very manipulative things to put her in his path so he can help her, because he realizes he can't just swoop in and like be like, hey, come home with me, and like throw her over his shoulder. So he manipulates her into letting him be able to do that. But also, anybody who gets in her way or causes her problems has to deal with the wrath of him and the circle of trust. So if you don't know about the circle of trust, you're missing out. You've got to go read this book. Start at the beginning if you've not read this series. It is really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
Love it.
we have like a whole series of friends on the hockey team that are very encouraging of being over the top and will help you out when you need to send very strong, painful messages to people.
Yeah, and I love that in this series, when the boys have their, I say boys, but they're men, have their text thread going, and one of them needs help, they will often reference things that happened in other books to the heroines where those heroes needed help. And it's very helpful to hear all the crazy shit they've done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because they did. They're just
very over the top.
Yeah. So good. And I know it's supposed to be dark. It just never feels dark because of the way it has enough humor in it that you just don't even realize.
So. They are not mean. I think that's one of the big differences. They are not bullies. They're not mean. Mm-hmm. They love their women, and nobody is going to make their woman's life difficult or prevent them from being with their woman.
Exactly. So love it. All right, guys. So there's your, they're so good. There's your touch her and there will be consequences video.
Yes,
trying to make
that's
sure
a
that
great
YouTube
one.
doesn't slap our hands here. So
yes, that's a great way to describe that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
So let us know in the comments, do you like this video? We get a lot of requests for them. But so do you like it? Who are your favorites? Mm-hmm. Maybe we missed some. We've done this video before though, so if we missed it, it might be in one of our other videos, but still tell us who some of your favorites are.
Yeah.
I love adding to my TBR.
Always.
From the comments.
Yep. And
make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, and always have that notification button on and subscribe so you don't miss out on extra videos like we like to put out.
Yep. On Wednesdays. Yes.
Usually.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.